I realize that there's not actually like 8. I mean, there is 8 chapters or whatever, but I thought there's like, it looks like there's more because there's a passionate and innocent ending. Like 2 of them, so that's like taking away the 2. Yeah, there's still a few left to go. It feels, I feel like, yeah, no, because these chapters are like 40 minutes each. Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah, this is so long. But I am enjoying it, actually. I just wish that James got likable a bit sooner. Because at this point, it's like, is he ever gonna be nice? The whole point, to me anyway, of a harsh character is that softening that comes with, like, time. I peer into my brother's eyes, pleading with him. He's been rather difficult in blocking me from going to meet the caller at the location he mentioned. I said no. He barks at me. Ruff, ruff. You don't get to tell me what to do, I reply childishly. Yes, I do. You're not the only one under house arrest, but how can you even think about going to this mysterious location all on your own? You're no super. I could totally be Super Mall Girl, I reply with an air of confidence, flipping my hair to complete the look. Stop joking around, Eric grumbles. I'm not joking around, I say, my eyes narrowing. I'm serious, Eric. I'm going. We don't know if it's a trap, he says hectically. We don't know anything at all, and that's the issue here, isn't it? I fire back. I'm not letting you go alone. Well, someone has to stay back and babysit these 2 here, I remind him. I also don't want Eric to come with me in case it is a trap. I'm protective of him, but I'm prepared to put my own life in harm's way to find out more information about my parents. Eric stubbornly puts his foot down. The answer is still no. I sigh loudly. A mysterious man calls and asks me to meet him. How could I refuse? He might know what really happened with Mum and Dad. Don't you think I know that? I want to know too, but they were in some deep shit. Like vigilante shit, Valkii. You're not a super. You can't defend yourself if you get attacked. Fine. What if I bring Kane along? He's a registered super. Briefly, Eric shuts up as he mulls it over. No, then I'd be putting both of you in danger. What? Kane is amazing. Have you not seen him kick James's ass? He's very competent, you know. Competence has nothing to do with it. We don't know what kind of trap you're being lured into. You may get ambushed and killed on the spot, if we're lucky. If we're not lucky, you'll get kidnapped again, and this time you'll be tortured. I'm not stupid, Eric. I know very well the danger I'm walking into, but it's our only cue here. Our only real piece of the puzzle. What I would love... Santa, I know it's past Christmas, but what I would like for late Christmas is for us to get kidnapped and then for James to come save us. I'm sorry, I like the damsel in distress to at least happen once, because the thing is with the damsel in distress, you know what? No, I like it happening like a little bit more than that. Because what happens then is that you get the person, the romantic interest, fucking worrying over you, showing you a side to them that you wouldn't see if you weren't in danger. That's fun. You can have other badass moments where you're not getting kidnapped and not in danger, but like never having that moment of being kidnapped and being powerless is so boring. You know? It's also unrealistic. I want to know more about Mum and Dad. And if that means blindly trusting a stranger to go meet them, then I will. I'm too stubborn to give this up. I'm going to meet that person. Whether I'm alone or have backup, one way or another, I'm going. Don't make James come with us. Like, 1, he's fucking useless against a human. 2, that would negate the point of getting kidnapped. Eric groans loud. Or at least, okay, at least... See, this is why I fucking love POV switches. We've always been in the POV of the main character, Valkii. But if it switched to when she went and James is like, where's Valkii? And then Eric's like, oh, she went off to a warehouse to go meet a mysterious man, and then we get to see him being mad. Like, or like, worried. That would be good. Eric groans loud and buries his face into his hands, his palms digging into his eye sockets. You are infuriating. I get that a lot. I dismiss. There are cameras here, you know. Forrester Inc. is watching us. They'll notice you leaving. Well, you're the genius here. I'm sure you can disable those cameras for a brief time. What makes you think I'll do that? He sneers at me. I want you to stay home. And I want to know what really happened to Mum and Dad. I snap back, feeling my anger rising. Eric clicks his tongue at me and averts his eyes, fixing his gaze on the floor. You think it's fun for me to be in the dark as well? He grumbles. I take in a small breath to calm myself down. Sorry for snapping. I apologize. You're gonna go either way, whether I like it or not, huh? Yep. I nod. Fine. If you're going, then you're taking Kane with you, and I'm flying my drone as a backup. I relax my shoulders and smile at him. Thanks. You're the best. I ruffle Eric's hair, but he bats my hand away. And we gotta come up with a plan. And a backup plan. And maybe a plan C. Right. You go ahead and think of that. I'm gonna call Kane. I bow out of the living room and head to my bedroom. The very next day, I'm outside waiting for Kane to arrive. The sky looks dark, like it's about to rain. Eric is next to me, fiddling around with his drone. Eok's come out to see me off. I'm a little glad James is off training in the forest again. After yesterday, I don't really know how to face him at the moment. Cameras are off? I ask Eric. They're being spoofed. They're seeing some old footage from yesterday, he explains. Good, so I can leave in peace without them knowing. I'm still a little confused as to where you're going, says Eok sheepishly. It's okay. I don't know it either exactly, I admit. I looked up the address and it's located in an industrial area. It's a warehouse for some kind of company dealing in ceramic tiles or something like that. Eric rattles off. Well, Eok, no matter what, I'm going to find out why that person called my parents' cell phone after so many years. I want to know what kind of information they have. Sounds dangerous to me, Eok acknowledges. That's because it is. It's crazy to go out to meet that random stranger, Eric pipes in. Can't I come with you? Asks Eok. I smile at him, appreciating the offer. Sorry, you can't. You're supposed to stay here and not leave. Eok continues to look worried, though. So are you, he brings to my attention. I love the, violins in this one as well. Well, he got me there. Yeah, I know, but I can't sit here and twiddle my thumbs. I have to go look for answers, and you're the one... Oh, no, I have a tracking thing as well. So how are they gonna not see the tracking thing? Because they'll know she's left. The one that set off the alarms? I thought she had one as well. Or am I getting that wrong here? Let me come! I can protect, he stresses. Yes, but... I raise up my left hand, flashing the faint oath symbol to him. You have an oath not to hurt anyone. True, but I could still be on lookout, warn you of anything dangerous. Eric coughs loudly before starting up the app on his phone and flies his drone high up in the sky. It makes a loud engine noise as it flies. I'll be the lookout with this drone. How far is the range on that thing? Can you really operate it all the way from here? I ask skeptically. Are you doubting my prowess? He asks, feeling insulted. I decide not to answer that. If Eric made it, then I'm sure he's got a ton of range on his drone. I'm stuck babysitting the aliens, but at the very least, I'll have eyes on both of you. I hope the weather won't mess things up, I say, looking at the dark clouds. Even Eric pauses at that, looking a tiny bit worried. Eventually, Kane pulls up on his motorcycle. I guess he wanted to be adventurous today and not use a car. He removes the helmet from his head and shakes his fiery red hair free. So, how long were you two going to keep me in the dark with all of this? He accuses us. Bro, we just found out. We're still figuring things out ourselves, you know, I reply. Like, dude, your parents were vigilantes. What if my parents were too? We only have scarce information on our own parents, nothing about yours. We don't even know if your parents knew ours were vigilantes. They could have hidden it from them too, Eric explains. Will he protect you? Eok asks, pointing at Kane. Of course, I'm Valky's bodyguard here, and won't let anything happen to her, Kane answers dutifully. I muster up a smile. Kane has got my back, always has. Eric may not like what I'm doing, but he's making sure nothing happens to me either. Come on, Kane, let's go. I don't want to be late, I say as I walk towards his motorcycle and take the second helmet off the bag, putting it on myself. I'll be here, watching, says Eric as the drone hovers in the air. And don't you dare lose that earpiece. I tap my ear, which has a small electronic device wedged into it. It's a direct line to Eric so he can talk to me and I can talk to him. His own invention, of course. Good luck, Valkii, says Eok. Thanks, I'll be back before you know it. Make sure that James takes a break from all that training and eats, alright? Eok only gives me a confident smile. Kane climbs onto the motorcycle and I hop onto the back, wrapping my arms around his waist. And then we're off. POV switch. Dang it. Rain starts to fall down from the heavens once we arrive at our meeting spot. As we get off the bike, I talk to Eric. Hey, Eric, can you still see us from up there? I ask, looking at the drone that's been following us the entire ride. I still maintain visibility, but if this rain gets any worse, I'm going to have to park the drone somewhere. It's not built to withstand extreme weather. He sounds annoyed. I hate the rain, says Kane once he removes his helmet. Can't control where my electricity really goes, he groans. Right, rain is kind of Kane's biggest weakness. He won't be able to shoot out any lightning attacks if he's worried about hitting me in the process due to the rain. Maybe we should go inside the warehouse? The caller didn't specify whether or not we should enter. The place is deserted with no one in sight, just a run-down looking metal building. It's eerily quiet, only the pitter-patter of rain filling the silence. Do you see anyone? I ask Kane, still looking around for any sign of another human being. Nothing. Haven't seen anyone since we last passed that drunk man on the street 5 minutes ago. Eric, do you see anything up there? Negative. Haven't seen anyone around the premises. Be on your guard. I hear his voice say through the earpiece. I nudge my foot against the metal door of the building, wondering if I should go inside. You think he's inside? I voice out my thoughts. If he is, why would it be locked? Kane questions, trying to open the door, but it doesn't budge. Maybe there's a side entrance or something, I mutter and start walking along the building. Hey, don't go too far, says Kane as he jogs after me. Eric, can you fly around to see if there's any other entrances to the building? The drone moves away as it starts to fly over the building. The rain is starting to worsen. I hope he'll continue to keep watch over us. A few seconds later, and Eric alerts me. On your right, there's a staircase leading to a door, he says. Kane and I walk around the right of the building, indeed seeing a staircase attached to the building. I eye it suspiciously, but there's no time for having second thoughts. I place my foot on the first step and scale the stairs. My heart drums with each step I take. I place my hand on the handle and push it down. There's a click and I feel the door move. It's unlocked. Well, isn't that convenient? Kane mutters sarcastically. Check for booby traps, Eric says in an urgent voice. I inspect the door frame and handle for anything suspicious, but as I push the door open, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. No string setting off a trap either. Valkii, Kane, I can't come inside. You better tell me what you see, Eric warns us. Then something occurs to me. What if they get spooked by seeing Kane? They didn't mention I should come alone, but maybe it will complicate matters if they think they're in danger. Kane is a registered super under the name Voltage, after all. Kane nearly bumps into my back when I stop. Yo, why are you stopping? I put my hand up against the doorframe, blocking Kane from entering. Kane, I start softly, I think you should wait outside. I am. Let me in. He tries to duck underneath my arm to get inside. I grab his arm and pull him back outside. No, stay outside. You may spook the guy. I'll let you know if I need help, okay? Just stay right outside the door. Huh? Kane gripes. Are you for real? Besides, it's raining buckets. Valkii, you're insane. Let Kane come with you, Eric echoes in my ear. I ignore their pleas and step inside, closing the door behind me. Eric curses a stream of remarks into my ear, but I try to focus on the warehouse itself. I'm up on a raised platform, looking down at a bunch of crates filled with wares. With my enhanced vision, I check out every nook and cranny in the room as fast as I can, but I don't see any sign of life. No one is here. What if it's the invisible man? I sigh loudly. Have I been led on a wild goose chase? Was that person never going to come? Hello? I came just as you asked, I say out loud. My voice carries through the room. But the only thing I hear in return is the rain splattering on the rooftop. I'm just about to turn around and open the door for Kane when I feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. How did you get this number? A voice rings loudly. I don't know who it is, so I don't know what voice to give it. I whirl around, frantically looking for around for the source, but when I turn to the spot it came from, I see nothing. It is the invisible man. Who's there? I demand to know. In 8 years, not a single call. Who are you? He fires back, the voice suddenly appearing from behind me. I whip my head back, but still see no one. I bite down on my lip. This guy has invisibility powers. Or maybe teleportation. I don't know. I have to be on my guard. Valkii, who is it? Eric asks, being in the dark. How'd you know my parents? I ask, ignoring his own question. Parents? He almost guffaws. An invisible hand shoots up to my throat, pushing me back against the railing. They left me, he yells. I claw at his hands, trying to break free. But it's the door that swings open that causes him to lose his grip, allowing me to escape. Valkii, duck! Kane shouts, shooting a bolt of lightning my way. Like my life depends on it, I duck and run out of the way. The bolt of lightning hits the rooftop of the warehouse instead. Who is this? The voice yells angrily. Why didn't you come alone? I suddenly get hit in my stomach, making me double over and fall down the railing. The invisible super pushes past Kane, his footsteps clambering to get out of the door. Valkii! Kane shrieks as he sees me fall. I don't have the energy to use my thread to catch myself, and I land with my back on top of a bunch of crates, knocking the breath right out of my lungs. A tremor runs through my body, temporarily paralyzing me. Oof, I can hardly move. Kane jumps down the platform next to me, worried hands lifting me up to my feet. "You all right?" he asks, completely distressed. "I'll live, but Kane, he's getting away." We run outside, or at least I try to be as fast as possible while my stomach and back feel like they're on fire. But by the time we look out into the distance, rain falling all around us, we see nothing. He's gone. Shit. I kick the ground in frustration, which only reminds me of the pain surging through my body at the moment. "Someone tell me what the hell is going on," Eric complains. "Valkii got attacked by a super," Kane says in a serious tone, "one that can turn invisible." All I hear is Eric's shocked breath. Santa didn't grant my request, so I'm sad. Two angry men stare at me. "I shouldn't have let you go. This was stupid, dangerous. What if Kane wasn't there?" Eric prattles off. "I'm not a child, Eric," I grumble. "Stop speaking to me like one." "You went into a dangerous situation, even after I warned you." I fold my arms across my chest, sticking my nose up in the air. I wince a little as I still feel the ramifications of getting hit in the stomach by that super. Truth be told, I do feel powerless. I couldn't dodge him. I was super confident I could protect myself, or at least react fast enough to be able to dodge any incoming attack. Sadly, when the attacker is invisible, it suddenly becomes a lot harder to predict an attack. Eric is right, I did go into a dangerous situation, and it's aggravating to sit here listening to him berating me like this. "I'm going to my room," I say, standing up from the couch. "That's definitely something I agree with. Go rest," says Kane. "Kane and I will study the camera footage," Eric adds. "You go lie down." I huff my annoyance out loud and walk upstairs. I fall down onto my bed with a sigh. I've tried calling the same number again, but it's disconnected once more. Whoever it was, my chances of reaching him have been squandered. He seemed to go berserk once I mentioned my parents. He also really didn't like Kane. I sit up straight, staring at the wall, thinking over how many registered supers have the ability to turn invisible. It's a relatively uncommon ability, so perhaps I can narrow it down? Or maybe he's not even registered. Or perhaps he's in Mum and Dad's archives. I did read about some Mr. Invisible in that file, after all. Yes, I should go to the basement to find out more information. As I'm about to open my door and walk downstairs, I'm met with a surprising sight. "Eok, James, do you need something from me?" The two of them walk inside my room. "He insisted on bringing me along," James huffs. Our eyes meet, and I suddenly recall our misunderstanding yesterday, and I immediately break eye contact. It's nice seeing him with a better haircut, though. "How did it go?" Eok asks, curious about my mission. I close the door and lean against it with a sigh. "A failure. I got attacked, and he ran off." Eok's eyes widen. "You got attacked?" he exclaims. I lift the hem of my shirt, looking down at the red mark on my stomach. "Yep, punched in the stomach." "I fell down as well, so my back is killing me," I groan. "That's a completely unguarded attack," James notes, studying my skin. Then he looks up at me. "You were caught by surprise." "The man I was supposed to meet, he's a super just like me, except he can turn invisible. I didn't know. I couldn't see him." "Whoa, invisible? Humans are amazing." Eok sounds impressed. "Some supers can turn invisible. It's uncommon, but not really rare, to be honest," I explain. "Either way, it was hard to expect an attack I couldn't see." "That does seem quite difficult to guard from," Eok muses out loud. "She's completely untrained. Even if she could see him, she'd be unable to block such an attack properly," James says. I narrow my eyes at him. He's right, but I hate it. I'm not a superhero, and I'm untrained in combat arts. I can do some clever maneuvers with my thread, but nothing can compare with being able to block and parry actual attacks. It's frustrating that I'm unable to do these things. My one lead on my parents' mystery got away and attacked me in the process. I felt helpless, and I don't want to feel like that again. So I muster up my courage. "Eok, James, will you help me train in self-defense?" There's a silence between both of them as they stare at me. James in particular looks surprised. "Of course I will do it," Eok happily agrees. My eyes lock with James. He huffs in return. "It would not be sufficient training regimen if we're unable to hurt you." "Wait, you want to hurt me?" I question him. He sighs deeply, briefly closing his eyes. "That is not my intention, but I have to attack." "Training includes being able to parry an attack. May I remind you that we are under oath not to harm any Earthlings. I cannot attack you." "Oh, that's what you mean." "Prince James, I believe we can train Valkii with more guided instructions," Eok suggests. Yes, you can just show me what to do. You don't actually need to go all in. I agree with him. Suddenly, he's closed the distance between us. His hands grab my wrist as he spins me around. Training is about anticipating the attack and reacting fast enough to dodge, he says as he pins me down onto the bed with my arm behind my back. My face is pressed into the mattress as he hovers his body above me, lowering his face next to mine. How can I train you properly without actually sparring? Then he removes himself, letting me go. I turn around on the bed and click my tongue at him. You didn't have to demonstrate my lack of reaction, I say grumpily. I'm sure we can figure something out. At least Valkii can learn the basics, such as a good fighting stance, Eok says cheerfully. He's always wonderfully positive. Besides, Prince James is the best captain I know of. Surely he will be able to overcome such a challenge. Eok grins at James. Oh, good one, Eok. Appeal to his pride. Of course I can do it. Remember who you're talking about here, he says, sounding mildly annoyed. Yes, Prince James, Eok says, shooting me a small smile. So you'll help me train? I ask, feeling all hopeful. I can see James grind down on his own teeth, but after a few seconds, he relents. I don't want to hear you complain about the rain. We start tomorrow. He then turns his back on us and walks out of my bedroom. I can't help the wide smile stretching across my face. I'm going to learn self-defense. Your back and your tummy aren't going to not hurt the next day. Safe to say, I'm anxious but also excited about this. Yesterday was a reality check for me. Eric was right. I am completely unprepared and out of my element. That's why I'm taking these steps to rectify my weaknesses. James and Eok stand before me. They look ready for battle. I'm grateful they're taking it seriously. We'll just be going over some basics. I adjusted them for your size as well as combat knowledge, which is non-existent, says James. I pout at him. I know I don't have any experience. You don't have to take a dig at me like that. Now, run 2 laps to the house and back here, James instructs me. My shoulders slump. Seriously? I thought you were going to show me some self-defense moves, I complain. Eok beats his chest with his fist. Valkii must warm up first. I can run with you if you'd like. You think you're going to train before properly stretching your muscles? James asks in this tone that shows he's almost insulted that I would complain. When is the last time you had any kind of training regime? He asks. I stare at him blankly. Any kind of physical movement? He asks instead. I ride my bike? I say, gesturing my hands vaguely. I know I haven't exactly been working out and live quite a sedentary lifestyle, but I do ride my bike around. Bike? James inquires. It's a vehicle powered by pedaling with your own legs. I try to explain, knowing I'm only making it more confusing. I can show you later? I suggest with an awkward chuckle. Just do the laps, James sighs. Guess I'll have to. Warming up is important. I push the hairband back across my head to keep my face as free from hair as possible. Then I start to jog out of the clearing. Eok soon follows me, clearly more experienced and not breaking a sweat. After running the 2 laps, I'm already exhausted. The clearing we're in is like a 10-minute walk away from the house, so having to run all that. Okay, I'm complaining too much. Very well, says James, approving of my warm-up. Eok will be your sparring partner. James points at Eok. He is a lighter and easier target for you. Eok gives me a wide grin. Don't worry, you can hit me all you want. I can't help but snort in response, wondering if Eok is just a big masochist. I think Eok in his root is. So... You sound very enthusiastic about getting hit by me, I say with a small chuckle, poking fun at him. Eok's positive mood isn't dampened. Instead, he puffs out his chest. I am honored to. I snort again. God, he's so endearingly weird sometimes. Eok, there's nothing honorable about being someone's punching bag, James huffs. Eok's brows droops in response. Eok, in position, he commands. Eok twists his body and faces me, arms up in a fighting position. That's your basic form. You want to make yourself a smaller target, covering your own openings. James walks behind me and I watch him with curious eyes. He taps his foot against mine, forcing me to spread my legs apart. My feet trail across the dirt until they're spread far enough apart that I'm matching Eok's stance. Always make sure you have a good footing. It's the best way to withstand an attack if you keep your center balanced. He then grabs my arms from behind, positioning them up in front of my face, tucking my elbows in close to my body. Then he makes me twist my body sideways, facing Eok. It's strange, but with his chest pressed up against my back, I'm hyper-aware of the places where he's touching me. Come on, Valkii, focus. Stop recalling him blushing. Always create distance between you and the attacker. Prevention is the best defense, he mentions as he steps back. You don't want them close enough to learn to hit, so always keep moving on your feet. Got it. Move around. Don't be an easy target, I say. Eok, grab her, James instructs. Eok moves slow enough that he's not threatening at all. His hands grab the collar of my shirt. Regardless of species, we all have our common weaknesses, says James as he circles around the two of us. The eyes are a small target, but highly effective to reduce their vision, letting you get away. Use your fingers to press into their eye sockets if your hands are free. Well, that's certainly a gruesome image. If you're being restrained, you can use your elbow to strike the chin instead. James showcases the maneuver where he lifts up his elbow and strikes with an uppercut. Pata! Okay, but how do I know where the eyes are on an invisible target? I point out. James's face falters for a second as he thinks it over. Even Eok looks confused. That's a good question. Then let's not focus on the eyes. Focus on the parts that are vulnerable and not hard to miss. The face is always a good target to attack, regardless of whether they're invisible or not. Try using your elbow to strike him. Awkwardly, I raise my arm and twist my body so that I lift my elbow up to lightly bump Eok's chin. Hehe, that tickles, Eok chuckles. The point of this exercise is to actually learn how to hit, so hit him, James groans exasperatedly. That word trips me up because I would never use it like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little wary of actually aiming to strike Eok a friendly face. What if I knock out one of his many teeth? James repeats the maneuver again to demonstrate, then gestures for me to repeat. Sorry, Eok, I love you. Sorry, Eok, I say, bracing myself. As his claws are still grasping my collar, I bring up my elbow to strike him in the chin. My entire arm feels tingly for a second as I hit my funny bone by accident. Ah! He shrieks, letting me go and stumbling backwards. I look at him with remorseful eyes. Sorry, did it hurt? Eok rubs his chin but gives me a smile. You did good. That had a lot of power behind it. Seems you can land a blow when needed, James begrudgingly concedes. I didn't really want to, though. I feel a bit guilty, I confess. One day you may have to attack someone you know and trust, James exclaims. He gives me this withering glare, and you'll have to be ready to strike without any hesitation then. That's messed up, I mumble. Captain, Prince James is right. You can't let your feelings get in the way, otherwise you leave yourself very vulnerable to an attack, says Eok. I'm glad to see you at least retained some amount of your training, you traitor, James grunts at him. Once more, Eok's face falls. Hey, leave the remarks, you're training me after all, I say. Fine. Eok, grab her from behind, James instructs. Eok steps behind me and puts me in a chokehold. To get free from this position, use what you can to your advantage. Your arms and legs are free, so you can attack his feet by stomping on them. As far as I can recall, Eok's wearing very shiny metal shoes as armor. Even when he's wearing that? I ask reluctantly. Yes, it's your goal to make him lose balance, so try whatever you can. Alright. I slam down my foot on Eok's shoe. I don't put a dent in it at all, but I can tell he lost his balance a bit, loosening his hold on me. Then go for the stomach or groin. Make a fist with your hand and bring it down hard. Go ahead, Valkii. I have a hard stomach, Eok assures me. Awkwardly, I make a fist with my right hand and slam it into his stomach. Whoa, I never realized how muscular Eok really is. There was almost no budging it. Good. Now do them both consecutively. Feet first, then stomach. You want to be quick and use the momentary confusion to break free. Eok tightens his hold on me and I dig my heel into his foot, then quickly slam my fist backwards against his stomach. He stumbles back, releasing a small groan, and I use the opportunity to break free. And immediately uppercut him with my elbow. Ah! He yelps as he falls backwards, clutching at his stomach and chin. There's a satisfying smirk on my face, realizing I broke free and got the combo off perfectly. When I look at James, it seems even he is impressed, a cocky grin on his lips. Well done, especially the moment where you counterattacked him in his moment of weakness. Very intuitive. I feel myself glow with pride as he compliments me. It means a lot coming from him. However, seeing Eok's pained expression brings me back to earth and I suddenly feel super guilty for hurting him. Oh no, did I hit you too hard? Are you okay? Do you need a break? I ask, fretting over him. Pull yourself together, Eok. This is simple training, James barks at him. Eok shakes his head and slaps the side of his face to wake himself up. Right, let's continue. Valkii is doing amazing. I giggle at him. I can't believe how both of them are being so supportive right now. We spend the rest of the session repeating the same maneuvers, with James teaching me a few other moves as well. I'm completely exhausted and covered in sweat when I ask to call it a day. My body is sore and aching from the small amount of training I received today. Coupled with my own problems, it seems I just can't fall asleep. I may be getting some training, but the mystery of that invisible super still isn't solved. Eric's drone footage revealed nothing but a bunch of rain. It only recorded Kane and I fleeing the building. I toss my legs over the edge of the bed and get up with a sigh. If I can't sleep, might as well go down to the basement and perhaps find a clue. I turn on the lights and slowly walk down the stairs. My parents kept a cabinet full of archives on superheroes. Maybe I can get some more information from there. I open up one of the drawers and take out a bunch of folders. Time to look at them one at a time. It's been like an hour later and I can barely keep my eyes open. There are so many supers that are listed in here, all with apparent ties to Julio. I had no idea. Some of them I actually recognized. They have since passed away or gone missing in those 8 years, though. In fact, given how many are dead or missing, I'm starting to wonder that a lot of these folders may just contain information about missing supers in the first place. Maybe Mum and Dad were tracking them down? I did find several folders with supers who had the ability to turn invisible. Who knew the ability was that common? One of them I could already cross off the list because they were deceased, big red stamp over their name. Another I could cross off as well because their ability was defined as only being able to turn their body invisible and nothing else. There's a difference between only turning invisible and being able to make other objects invisible as well. My mysterious caller was the latter, unless he was naked this entire time. Could be. I shiver just thinking about it. No, I don't think anyone would waltz around naked in the rain. Most likely he could turn objects he touches invisible as well. So that leaves me with 5 supers with this ability. Some of them have their addresses listed, not all. Of course, this information is at least 8 years outdated, so they may not actually live there anymore. I'll have to visit these locations myself to find out. Though Eric is going to be an issue, he will forbid it. I guess for now I'm going to have to continue the training sessions with James until I'm confident enough to take on an invisible super. I finally emerge from the basement, stretching my arms. All this thinking got me thirsty. I should go drink something. Are we going to come across friggin' James in his tiny boxers again? As I open the fridge, scanning the shelf for anything Eric may have bought me, I hear another pair of footsteps descend the stairs. I peer over my shoulder to see James walking down. Oh, he's wearing trousers. I guess I should get used to you being up in the middle of the night, I say, making light conversation. My eyes travel down his body, expecting him to be in his underwear. James lowers his brows, realizing why I'm giving him a funny look. I'm wearing proper clothing, he says defensively. Granted, he is wearing pants, though his upper half is still exposed. It's fine, really, doesn't bother me. Is there anything you need? I ask. I can fix you something to eat if you'd like. James sets his gaze upon the fridge, taking a long time to answer. Maybe a hot cup of chocolate? I suggest cheekily. That seems to get him to talk. I was planning on taking a stroll, but I wouldn't mind drinking that beverage. All right, sit back and relax, I say, and scoot him over to the living room instead. A couple of minutes later, I carry 2 cups of hot chocolate into the living room. James is seated on the couch, and I hand him one of the cups, then sit next to him, holding my own. We drink in silence. I want to say it isn't awkward, but the silence is making my mind go places. I still feel a little embarrassed about that ear incident. It doesn't seem like James is affected as I am, so that's a good thing. So, James, I start slowly, blowing over the warm liquid to cool it down. Couldn't sleep? James pulls the cup away from his lips and stares down at the coffee table. Sleeping proves to be difficult lately, he admits in a soft voice. Same. I agree with him. So many things on my mind, not to mention my muscles are killing me. I'm sore all over. That's because you've never properly followed a training regime. You have a weak body. I know, I groan. You don't need to tell me that. At least I'm trying, right? I suppose, he admits. Keep this up and your body will remember, then it won't hurt anymore. Are those words of encouragement? I say jokingly. Motivating your troops is an important task as a captain, he says dutifully. Bad morale can mean defeat. Well, I'm not part of your troop, but I am thankful you decided to teach me, so thank you. He says nothing, instead taking a sip from his hot chocolate, silently acknowledging my thanks. I lean back into the couch, pulling my legs up against my chest, resting my cup on top of my knees. You know, I was much more active when I was younger, I swear. It's just now that I'm older, I don't really do any sports or the like. I'm too busy. Busy or lazy? He asks for a distinction. I pout slightly. Maybe a bit of both, I admit as I drink from my cup. Another silence stretches between us, so it's not awkward or anything. I'm surprised it's James that breaks the silence. What were you like when you were younger? I'm acutely aware that this is the second time James has asked me a personal question. It catches me off guard. I was a rowdy girl, never letting anyone get me down. James exhales a small chuckle. You mean to say you never grew out of being a troublemaker? I shoot him a lopsided grin. That's exactly right. If I saw something I thought was wrong, I would try and step in. Getting yourself into a mess, he mentions. I don't care. I can't stand by and do nothing when I know I have the power to change things, to maybe help someone. It's always been like that with me. I hum out loud. Wait, does that mean I'm still childish? It means you had strong enough convictions to hold on to as you matured. That's a very wise thing to say, I say, giving him a strange look. You expected me to belittle you? He quirks an eyebrow at me. Maybe yes, I admit. He sighs in response, closing his eyes. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to remain the same as when you were younger. Not all change is good. You know, I actually wanted to become a superhero when I was younger, I admit. Your planet's version of a soldier? James asks, to clarify. A little, yes. If you have an ability, you can register yourself as an official superhero, and you can use your ability in public without repercussions. I feel a little childish for admitting my young ambitions. I just wanted to help if I could, you know? Wanting to become a soldier is an admirable trait. Well, my parents were heavily against it. They didn't want me to risk my life fighting for the greater good. They said my ability wasn't exactly combat applicable, I say with a shrug. At some point I started to believe it as well, that I didn't want to become a super. There were enough people like that in the world, it didn't need me as well. I sigh loudly, and my parents ended up as huge hypocrites, being vigilantes themselves. Parents wanting to protect their young isn't hypocritical, James argues. It is smart. Well, they accomplished what they set out to do. I'm not a super. I ended up making super suits for the actual supers just to feel like I was still helping out a little. I give him a sheepish smile. Don't get me wrong, I do love my work, but lately I can't stop wondering what could have been. Wondering what could have been, huh? James exhales a small breath as he stares down at his cup. So, James, what were you like as a child? I ask, getting curious myself. The question makes him pause for a second. Weak, is his answer as he takes a big gulp. Oh, come on, you were a child. Children are supposed to be weak, I say flippantly. Rahu aren't meant to be weak. We value strong members of society. As a prince, I had to become the strongest. I guess I didn't look at it from that perspective, having to grow up under such pressure, I mumble quietly. Weak and ideally naive, that is what I used to be. Young me wrongly thought he could save the day without having the strength to back it up. Then my eyes land on his chest, the scar that he got when he was younger. Is that how you got this? I ask, and I point at his chest. Yes, he says, finally finishing the hot chocolate. I was too young to properly heal it. Leading to scars, I finish for him. I scoot a bit closer to him, raising my hand towards his chest. I lock my eyes with his dark ones, wondering if it's okay to touch, when he makes no indication of moving, and that the tips of my fingers touch the scar on his chest. James inhales a sharp breath, but keeps looking at me. Did it hurt? I ask softly as I trail the scar all the way down. Then suddenly his hand grasps my own, halting my movements. Did yours? He inquires back. I feel like my breath is caught in my throat. I avert my eyes away from him, opting to look down at the scar on my own arm. At the time, yes, I answer. He releases my hand. It was reckless to protect me, he comments. I don't regret it, I fire back. His eyes falter and his shoulders slump slightly. It is my regret that I thought I could protect my siblings, but the bright light and the subsequent barrage of wind attacks was not something I could defend against. He suddenly bares his fangs. I couldn't even protect my brother, who was a baby at the time. He got slashed across his eye, permanently losing his vision. I'm starting to put the pieces together, a blinding white light and wind. That's just what happened with Nornis, I say softly. He brought down a house with it. Prince Nornis is Lord Veritas' younger brother. That he shares the same maniacal strength as his older brother should be no surprise. So that confirms it. Veritas attacked James and his siblings when they were younger. I can't imagine the trauma he must have gone through at such a young age. I keep quiet for a while, letting it sink in. Still, I start slowly as I finish my cup of chocolate. It was a very brave thing of you to do to protect your family. I don't think anyone could have asked for more when you were just a child. Only an earthling such as yourself would think that, he says with a small huff. And you can't change my mind about it either, I reply. I wouldn't take back what I did if I had the chance, I say, referring to when I stopped Caleb from hitting James. I tilt my head to the side. Would you? Once more, he remains silent. James carefully thinks it over. No, I wouldn't, is his unwavering answer. I smile in return. Seems the current you and the younger you still have some things in common. James turns his head away. We do not, he denies. I am much stronger now. Yes, I definitely won't deny that, I say as a giggle escapes from my mouth. I hide my smile from him. It feels like I understand James and his principles a little better. You should get some sleep, he says all of a sudden, getting up from the couch. Tomorrow we will train again. You need to be well rested. Yes, I'll try, I agree, also standing up from the couch. Thank you for the hot chocolate. He bows slightly in front of me, catching me off guard. He's being rather polite. Yeah, no problem, I say awkwardly. When he begins to walk away, I stop him. By the way, I ask as I take a step closer to him, isn't this cutting into your own training time? Teaching me, I mean. Are you concerned with how I spend my time? He asks, genuinely confused. Well, you do seem a bit overzealous with training. I didn't mean to drag you away from that just so you can teach me. He lifts his chin as if scrutinizing my very being. I don't mind. My eyes widen at his response. After all, who would stand around doing nothing when they have the power to help? He says, repeating my own words. I stare at him, my mouth agape. That's the opposite of what he's been saying this entire time. What's up with him? He's being needlessly contradicting. And yet I can't help it as my heart flutters in my chest. It's like he's saying he respects my values. James finally turns around. Sleep well, he says as he ascends the stairs. Same, I say quietly. My eyes stare at his scarred back, reminding me of the troubled childhood he's had. Yes, I do think I understand him a bit more now. But I didn't expect this feeling to blossom where I suddenly want to know more about him. I want to play more, but my voice is killing me. I want to play more. But I can't. It is late. I really don't know where this is going. I don't know the significance of the parents. Bro, my lips look crazy right now. I don't know the significance of the parents. Like, what were their powers? Kane's parents. Is James's planet gonna come into play here? What's with the heartbeats and it seemingly not being something normal that people can hear it? I want to know more about that. I really want to keep playing, but my voice and also my freaking lips are crazy puffy right now. Why? Okay. Oh, I'm not on the game. We've got Gray, and Aiden to do after this, I think, right? Aiden is done. Gray is also done. I'm gonna keep an eye on Eok, because I really do want to play his. I also love the, isekai, type thing going on that route. Oh, my voice hurts. See, this is how much we've got left. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, epilogue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, theoretically, I should be able to get his route done the next time I play if I do 7 episodes, because each one is one chapter and longer than I like to go for my videos. Usually I like to do 30-minute videos. These are going over 40 minutes, and all of these were like, I've already done his. I don't know why it's saying I haven't. All of these were like 2 chapters in one video, so it's like 15 minutes a chapter. James is so different. It's crazy. It's gonna be weird going into Gray and then Aiden's, and just everything be so different and short. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I really hope that Eok's route is done soon so I can play it soon, because I really want to be caught up on Tailor Tales. But I don't know when I'm so tired. I don't know if when Eok's route is done, his plus content will come out right away, because I've got plus content for everybody. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I guess we'll have to see. So yeah, that was some more of James's route. I don't feel like we, I mean, we found out stuff, but like I don't feel like we got that far in it. There's been progress. There's been progress with James. He's softened, but I feel like there's going to be a moment where he unsoftens again. There's like that shit of what he said. There's going to be a time, there might be a time when you have to like hurt somebody that you care about, that you love or whatever. And that is so foreboding, and yeah, it's a flag that might happen. I just want, what I want coming up in these next chapters is James giving a fuck about our well-being. He knows how weak we are compared to him, and yet he knows that she was like hurt. She like had a bad tummy, had a bad back from the warehouse, but he still like, I don't know. That was weird to me, that she was just magically cured the next day, like it didn't matter. Although I guess they weren't gonna hurt her, but still running for 20 minutes, because it was like 10 minutes there and back, right? So 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back. That would still hurt. Like, it would still be bruised. She would still have a bruise. Bruises don't heal that quickly. I don't know. I don't want to keep playing. I want to finish it, but with these games, my voice just starts to go, and it's getting like scratchy back there, man. It's getting scratchy. But these games, like, it's Tale of Tales is another one of those ones that's not super well known. I can't even remember how I came across it. But it's really good. Again, it's really good. It's a lot tamer than Particles of Reality, but yeah. My god, I'm just rambling now because I'm so tired and my voice hurts. Anyway, so yeah, I should friggin' end it, right? I will see you in the next one.